So a lot of us in the SCCA world, they think they need to use their big fast autocross lot. San Francisco region is one, they just did one. They wanted to do it. They have this wonderful Air Force base, Crow's Landing. Great site. It's 50 minutes away from the edge of town. I said no. Why? Like Carla said earlier, they're not like us. We don't drive. They don't want to drive 2 hours. They don't want to get up at 5 a.m. to drive 2 hours. They're already grumpy. So your autocross site is not going to work at all, unless it's in the middle of town. Gentlemen here from the Chattanooga regions, they're expanding their program. They're outside, 15 minutes outside of Chattanooga in Trenton, Georgia. 15 minutes, right? That's 7 miles outside of the center of Chattanooga. They can't fill a school. They put it inside Chattanooga, 7 miles away, school fills up. So think about location.
One other thing about location, we've had a couple different schools in a couple different locations where it's near a populated area, a major road, a shopping mall, things like that. You really get people coming over to say, what are you doing here? And you talk to them and you explain it and they say, this is a great idea, I want to sign up my kid too. So a lot of times you might find a great location that's kind of pushed off in the weeds. You might be better off if you find a location that a lot of people are going to be driving by that day and seeing what's going on. We've had the police drive by and say, what's going on? And we tell them and they say, boy, we'd like to help. So anytime you can get a location where there's more public there is a good idea.
So this slide's easy. Large paid parking lots, stadiums, airports, that kind of stuff. Recently, we're working with Hawaii region. They were supposed to have one in February. Yes, I'm flying to that one. But Aloha Stadium is under construction. So they came back to me and they were like, well, how big of a lot do I need? Can you give me some sizes? And one of the other things that you need to think about is that you don't have to have big fast. You need to get the young driver feeling the car at the limit, whether it's at 30 or whether it's at 45 rather than 60. You may have to tighten the slalom up to really get the car to move. You may have to shorten the distance up for your lane change to really get the car to move. The speed is nice, but it's more about seat of the pants. It's more about getting that feeling in there. Google Earth is our friend. These are your slides, by the way.
Yeah.
Searching, measuring. He drew that. I did not. But this is a good example. So San Francisco moved it to Las Positas Community College, and they had 3 lots sort of linked like this. We used one for straight line braking, slalom. We used one that was kind of square for a skid pad, and we used another one that was oblong shaped like this for the lane change. So they were linked together, and they can drive back and forth. So think about that when you're looking at a lot, or you're looking at your church. It may not be suitable for what we like to do for autocross, but it's going to work great for this. That's your dimensions. 400 by 600. Unique spaces may require multiple exercise changes. Bill came to my first class. He actually came to a couple of them early on. But one of them was the police had given us their front part of their training area. They had just paved a helicopter pad right in the middle of it. Couldn't run across the helicopter pad. Wouldn't let us. So I was like going diagonally across the parking lot and using everything, but every exercise had to be torn down and set back up. Came back to me and goes, man, you use some of the worst lots.
Yeah, and that subject of changing in small areas. We're looking at another place possibly for this year, for another region, that we know that we may have to set up just 1 or 2 exercises at a time, take them down. And what we're talking to them about is changing their classroom structure. Instead of doing an hour and flipping it, doing a split schedule, or even if they did a single, do a half-hour classroom session so that we can do back and forth flipping of the exercises while they're doing another classroom section. So think about being flexible in what you do if you have to do that. But as Scott said, there's a lot of little areas that you can use if that's all you've got. You just have to be flexible.
So this right here is the Corvette Museum. We had street survival schools there. This was a skid pad, this area was a lane change, and we had slalom and braking over here on this. Didn't we have 2 wheels on, 2 wheels off in the circle? Or
Yeah.
We had something in the circle right there. And the kids parked over here. We put the 18-wheeler right here. Was it the fastest? No. This really doesn't show. This is Scottsboro High School. I got 2 acres to play with. That's it. What this doesn't show is it falls 30 feet from this corner to that corner. Yeah. So I put the straight line braking here, right down the middle of the road. We did every other exercise right here, but we took advantage of that slope to give the kids a different feeling. Running up, running down, skid pad. It worked great. Not only that, the fire department dumped 15,000 gallons of water on it, drained it like you would not believe. 2 acres. So you heard me mention the Jasper Engines place. They got plenty of pavement out there is what I was told. Sent out Dave Melton from Kentucky. He calls me going, Scott, I can't figure this out. This is the lot we did it in. This is their building right here. I couldn't go around the building down here that you don't see because they actually were having employees working. Can everyone see that? So this is what I came up with. I was allowed to close this road off and allow the students to come down next to the Coca-Cola building, enter in right here, and park over here. I turned Jasper Boulevard into the straight line braking. I had a super tight, but also it was on a slant, skid pad. This was a slalom. This turned into a lane change in the afternoon. This was a super skinny piece of parking lot right here. That was perfect for an 18-wheeler. So I was able to put all of the instructors' cars right there and sat there all day. Parents could go into it anytime they wanted. Jasper pulled out a brand new 18-wheeler for me to use. This is where our club trailer sat, which was really cool. So how many of you do surprise, like when they're transitioning from one exercise to another? Like you may throw a ball at them or a cone. We do. I was hiding right here. So they would come, do straight line braking, do the skid pad, come around and come over here, behind the line of cars, to get to here. I would sit here and throw cones at them. I had another instructor right here hidden behind the sign that would throw from the other side. Just to keep them, like it can happen at any time, just keep them away. But that's what we did with Jasper right there. This right here, they maybe hit 40 miles an hour before they hit the brakes.
They didn't let you use the oval?
What oval?
Oh, all right, never mind.
I don't know of any oval. Jasper wanted it at their corporate headquarters.
Yeah,
I don't know of any oval.
they got a little oval over there for transmission testing.
I'm going to go find the oval. So, getting creative. Sometimes you have to think outside the box. It was cool that I was able to close the road down. I mean, it's not really a road. What you don't see right here is there's a 3-foot concrete wall right there. 3 foot high. So it was on a separate. Now, SCCA safety rules I have to keep 25 feet away from a hard edge. It was super nice that this was completely flat right here. How many of you do the tailgating exercise at the end of the day? Okay. What we did was we took down this wall of cones, put it right here, put the instructors between the cone and the island, and ran the tailgating up like that. Again, maybe 40 miles an hour.
Please define.
What is tailgating exercise?
The tailgating exercise is, Bill turned me on to it, and Tim. I do it at the end of the day. We take the students lined up in a line right here, the instructors next to them on the other side of the cones.
In their cars.
In their cars. End of the day. Instructors get a 1 to 2 second head start. Instructors take off. Students follow behind them in the lane, next lane. Whenever the instructor hits the brakes, the goal is for the student to hit the brakes and not go past them. Sort of simulating a tailgating situation.
The student is told to stay behind the instructor car at a comfortable distance, like they'd be driving on the street. So they're driving down whatever course you've got, side by side, but slightly behind the other guy.
We do a variation of that called Fox and Hound. And it's both students, and they take turns and they make a game. They'll do a single stop, they'll do multiple stops, and they seem to have a good time with that.
Yeah, no, at the end of the day, the student tries to line up with their instructor. So it becomes sort of a little bit more a relaxed atmosphere. They're starting to nudge each other and stuff. I had one instructor look at, the student and go, "You want to go? Come on, let's go!" And they're getting back and forth. But it's a fun thing to do. But that's how we accomplish that one. So, yes, and I tell everyone this. I had a super proud moment one time in one of the Chattanooga schools. I came walking out with 28 students. Because at the time we could set up everything at one time. And I walked them out in the morning to split them up. We've done the good morning thing, that kind of stuff. We're all out there. I came out there, and there was this M3 just ripping through the slalom. As an autocrosser, it was awesome. It was fabulous, and I was about to fire an instructor. I was red-faced. This is not what we do. I know we like to pre-drive, make sure it's not too fast, I'm chewing on my course marshal at that point in time. And one of the guys comes over and goes, "That's your daughter out there." I was like, "Whoa, Pratt Dowd moment." Hold on. So, yes, it's nice to have big fast slaloms and it's nice to get the speed up. But you're not going to have a good school if they have to drive an hour outside of town. It's easier, it's better to pick a different lot. Oftentimes, if it's in the city limits, the Convention and Visitors Bureau will help you because you're inside the city. Churches will often give you the lot. So, you want to talk about that one?
Yeah, sure. This is like when we talked about sponsors. If you find a lot, and you're probably digging around on Google Earth looking for stuff, or you're driving around your city, you find a lot, you need to find out who owns it. You might have seen, when we were talking about sponsors, there was a sticker on the one parent companion, said Duke Realty. We just happened to find that because we were driving around and found a great parking lot, and we found out the owner, who owned a lot of big office complexes, was Duke Realty. So aside from providing your electrical power, they control your land. But then you go to them, and you want to be professional when you go to these people. You have to explain to them where you're coming from. So you got to find the right person again. You've got to look the part. You've got to wear your street survival shirt. You've got to wear a coat and a tie. Something that makes it look like you know what you're doing and you're doing this for the goodness of all. The big thing is don't be the car person. Don't go in there with your BMW jacket on saying this is what we do. You know, we're car people and we do this. These people don't care. If you go in looking like you're a charity and you're doing this for the goodness of teens everywhere in the world, people care. So, you know, look the part. Again, have trifolds. I'm thinking it's in the event kit, but maybe it's not. Scott or Bill or myself have talk points that we can send you. If you're going in, to explain to them what we're talking about. Explain to them what we need. Explain to them that we have $10 million worth of insurance and they're not going to be liable when some teen stuffs his car into a bush on the side of the road. So,
And
you know,
we'll replace the bush.
yeah, we'll replace the bush. So that's it.
SCCA, so, you know, regions, you know, there's a solo site acquisition kit or something. Use it, but also take your expired COI from any event. SCCA pretty much has the same event insurance for road racing, for any, doesn't matter. What it has is it has the amounts on it and what they pay. You walk in and go, and this is our insurance, and everybody has to sign a waiver. And they're like, done. Okay, here you go. Use that. Yes. Classrooms, yes.
So you have to request sanction like you would in the actual SCCA event and
So on the SCCA side, and this is something we'll go over right now, there is a actual street survival sanction form, and it's a fillable PDF. Page 1 is exactly the same thing for all SCCA. Page 2 is street survival specific. It has your address so we can ship you supplies. It has the contact information for MSR. What that sanction form does is when you send it in, 1, we know you're serious. 2, you get your sanction in COI, it goes to Tim. Tim opens up your MSR for you and gets you going and gets you rolling. Neil in Greer, South Carolina, starts sending the media outlet stuff and starts sending reminders to you. So that form is very important. Once you send that in, Neil opens up the Facebook event, all based off of that sanction form.
so is there an audit to follow that up to?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes.
Like the same charges that you would if, say, it was for a solo event, the same audit?
There are no charges for that. No, all of that is free. Your insurance is free. There's no per car charge or anything like that. That's one of the things that Foundation and SCCA Inc. have come together with. Is there's no insurance there. There's no insurance cost for that.
So back up. These are some of the things that are nice to have. They're not critical. The critical thing is having the location for the exercises. But what makes it great for your students, for your instructors, is having an indoor classroom. It's a whole lot easier, especially if you're in a place where it's 90 degrees. We've done them with tents, as Bill mentioned, for easy ups lashed together. We've done them outside classroom and things like that. If you can get indoor classrooms, if you can get indoor bathrooms, everybody's a whole lot happier. A place to sit and have lunch when it all comes. So, you know, these are the things that are really nice to have. But if you can find a great parking lot and it doesn't have all of this, I suck it up and take the parking lot.
So cracked corn is actually more consistent than water when you're doing your skid pad. At the Jasper facility, they were worried about it messing up their lawn. And so we had to sweep it up. The head of marketing, who helped me with this, had to come out, blow it up, and then put it in the back of his truck to take it to where he wanted it. They didn't want it just blown in their beautiful lawn, because they didn't want people going corn shooting up. I mean, they had all kind of reasons why. No, you're not going to grow corn, but the birds will come and take care of it. So
We did have the issue in doing it in New Jersey near some water. When we broke for lunch, the seagulls came in and ate up our skid pad.
Yes. Darn seagulls. So, staff parking. Remember, they're the secondary. You're gonna need their cars to do the 18-wheeler, but remember that. So, Susan, her classroom is 2 miles from the venue. They've done an excellent job making sure that there's an instructor in with the student to drive them back and forth.
Now, I'd like to share too, this year I happened to drive with I'm not an in-car coach, but I rode with one of my students, or one of my drivers, and we come out of we're in an agriculture area, we come out of the driveway, and there was not a stop sign. She pulled out, and I just about lost it because I'm not trained. But that was such a good opportunity. Almost all of our coaches find mistakes on that 2-mile drive. Sometimes I think it's a disadvantage. In fact, I was just looking at another site because it is a long way to drive. But we're used to driving that far in Kansas.
So make sure, and if they're not, permitted drivers, they have to have a licensed driver with them. So if you are separated, no. In the state, if they go on a public road.
If they're going on a road, a public road,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yes, I was getting there. Hold on.
All right, I'm sorry.
Hold on. In Susan's case, they had to get on a public road and literally drive around a piece of farm
Okay.
to get there, to get to their site. So yes, you have to have an instructor there if you're going on a public road.
But she told the instructor, and we both very adequately, there wasn't a stop sign, there wasn't a yield sign, I don't have to stop, and I never have. She was never taught at an unmarked intersection to look.
All right, so we're here for questions, because a lot of that, the site stuff is one of those things. Yeah, Jim?
So your story of your daughter reminded me of something that happened in one of our events. I wasn't there, but everybody was talking about this student who was a phenomenal driver. The slaloms were like you described. Everything was high autocross ability. How do you deal with it?
I'll get there. Did you have a question?
Yeah, specifically about the parking lots, are there hard or soft limits about distance to obstacles?
Yes.
So as an SCCA sanctioned event, we have to have a safety steward on site. The safety steward has to approve. We have to have a minimum of 25 feet from a hard or immovable object. So the safety steward will actually look and see. I know that Bill and them would like to have that same distance as well, but SCCA, and you have to have that safety steward has to be there all day. For me, that's my chief course marshal. He's also the timekeeper, because he's like, all right, I got 5 minutes left last time through. Don't make your timekeeper the classroom person. Make it your field marshal so he can corral the cars in.
And so,
Go ahead.
yeah, so the 25 feet, that would apply to a light pole,
curb.
potted plant, but curbs as well.
Yes, curb. Oftentimes I have made the light pole the center of the skid pad and come off 25 feet from that. All right, so I have always seen, there's always been students who have higher abilities at every school. At every school. When I teach, I say, if you want to take it to the next level, this is where you do it. We don't want you to do this on the street. Bill does the same thing as the light side, dark side speech. At the end of the day, if the instructor's coming to me saying, this might be a potential club member, we talk about it at the end of the day, never during the day. Like I said, I bounce an instructor when he put his student on a clock rolling through the slalom because he had above average abilities. No. Done. Jose?
If I'm in car with a student that has exceptional abilities, I make the mental challenge for him or her harder. And the first one we start with is count backward from 100 by threes, out loud while you're driving. We find out they hit cones.
Let them text in the car. Let them text their parents going through the slalom.
And that's one of the things that I do in the afternoon is if I can't, flip or we're having sight issues and we're sort of stuck, or in the afternoon, I will say at lunch, we're going to break out into cell phones. The parents are going to call you at any time. This is not to show that you can do it, this is to show that you can't, because the cones are nuns and orphans. How many nuns and orphans did you hit at the beginning of the day? You're going to find out. You're crushing nuns and orphans, or baby seals, puppies. Yeah. And the goal is to not show them that they can do it, it's to show that they can't do it at any speed whatsoever. And the light bulb goes off. The parents love it. Love it. Because, they're there, they're like, I had one on speaker, and I make them call speaker. They called their mom who was on site. She goes, "What's wrong? Why are you calling me?" And so I had to explain the situation. She died laughing. She goes, "Thank you so much." In Carla's thing, you were talking about texting and driving. Parents are in the back, students, I'll say, "Come on up, let's get close." And like I said, I throw tennis balls. I bounce tennis balls at my students to keep them awake. And that sort of reinforces, you're going to learn that you're going to start figuring out what your car is going to do in a panic situation. You're also going to learn that this tennis ball is coming at you. So I'm reinforcing.
If, and there's getting to be fewer and fewer cars that have this, but if it is a two-wheel drive car and has a handbrake handle, I know on the instructor guide it mentions potentially use the handbrake on the skid pad. Well, there's nothing to say there couldn't be a spot of oil in the middle of the slalom or the emergency lane change.
Right. Cheryl, did you have your hand up?
I did. Thank you for noticing. I was going to ask about, you mentioned parents. In the early days, when we were school a long time ago, in higher rec days, the parents, it was kind of a mandatory, one parent needed to stay at the site all day. Is that something, I haven't heard a lot about parents, is that something we no longer try to do?
I don't. I encourage, and they're allowed to come hang out, because I also use the classroom, specifically in the afternoon, to have the students throw their parents under the bus several times. And I actually say that. I said, kids, my opening statement to the kids is, the best thing that you're going to do is get yourself out of the comfort zone. We want you to squeal tires. We want you to squeal inside the car. There's also several opportunities in the classroom for you to throw your parents under the bus and expose their bad habits to themselves. Kids love it right off the bat. So anytime that they do that, they're like, here we go. Yes, I get, where are you text from my mom all the time. And I look over at mom, and she's like, oh God, I'm busted. So, I do that as well. We are under the 5 minutes, so.
I was in a class yesterday, and one of the things that was brought up that we usually do at our events, we put all the elements together at the end of the day, and let the parents get in the car, and we go through and do like a solo event. I am under the impression now that we are not to allow the parents in the car.
No.
Oh, yeah, you can allow parents in the car.
Bill Wade, come up and beat him.
We don't want the instructors out playing at the end of the event.
We don't do
No.
that.
So it was asked,
People did.
we put parents and with the instructors to see how they do that. And we're like, no. I specifically remember a Bowling Green event where Janie walked out and said, no one's allowed to ride with you for the entire day. Bill went, yes. From that day forward, I have not allowed parents to ride in the back seat of the cars or ride with the students while we're teaching.
While we're teaching during the day, yeah, you don't want the parent in the car. Can the parent ride with the teen at the end of the day if you can control your instructors, if you can control the situation really well? I'm not hearing this, okay? But the reason why we don't really suggest it is because the registrar doesn't always have a good grip on his instructors. And all of a sudden, you'll see an instructor driving the student's car because the parent asked him, well, can you show me what this car can really do? Right? Everybody in the room will go, yeah, that's awful. But it will happen. And we've had coaches run over fire hoses, and we've had to replace a $1,000 fire hose. We've had coaches almost wreck a student's car and cause a lot of problems. So, you know, the general rule is no. We'd really rather that not happen.
I do not in my schools. I do not allow.
If you don't want the phone call from me later, having to explain why we're having to do something because a coach went rogue on you, okay, you can allow it. But when I call you, I am not going to be happy.
No, I do not. No. Plus that it tends to add 30 minutes to the day, or 45 at the worst case. I would much rather the students spend that 30 minutes learning how to drive than and then having the mom.
Okay, it's the student that's driving the parent.
Right.
No,
Yes.
I don't.
We have, and we put the elements together and make it a very just a continuous move. And we have the student drive parent with the instructor, the coach, in the car, follow the parent for a couple of times. And then, if we still have time, we let the parent ride in the car also.
See, I don't, and because it gets way too. Yes, sir.
You, as we discussed yesterday, you and I, you are potentially losing the biggest marketing campaign you have, which is a parent or parents who bring a timid, shy, incapable driver to your event in 8 hours. When they get in that car or that truck to go for the parent ride-along, when they get home, they are so excited about how improved that student is, they want to tell everybody. You want to talk about Facebook?
Have them drive them home.
I'm not. I don't, and that's why I said no earlier. You can get that with the drive home.
Okay, so one of our rules actually is the parent drives home. Because the student is physically and emotionally drained.
Yes.
I'm not saying that, you know, if the student wants to drive home, once they leave my lot, I can suggest it, but oftentimes, and more often than not, whether the student drives or whether the mom drives or the dad drives home, it's, oh my gosh, Tim Sutter came to one of my schools with his son. Son ended up damaging the car. We ended up putting him in the cop car. Got done with the school. Marjorie, who's in Florida, they drove up, actually Scottsboro, Alabama school. and Marjorie called and said, I don't know, my son's been driving Z06s since he's 14, but oh my gosh, he cannot shut up about it. I will not have a safety issue like that and put a parent inside the car. I've often had parents go from morning to afternoon, just watch on the outside, say, what a difference. On the way home, what a difference.
So your responsibility for safety ends at the intersection leaving your facility?
Yes.
My safety steward does not have to worry about what goes on the public roads.
I'm sorry, yes or no?
If the parent wants to put the student in the car and drive home, that's their decision.
But, like I said, I mean, we can't.
All right, we need to wrap up.
Be encouraged.
So,
We could argue this for the rest of the day. Is that right?
yeah, well, I mean, we can. All right, so we're in our last yay hoorah session.
Ask a question. How many people have never put on the streets Bible school? How many are still in the room? How many still want to put on the streets Bible school? I assume that if you were still in the room, you wanted to do that. How many people have at least 10 questions that didn't get answered? Of those new ones, how many have at least 10 questions that still didn't get answered? I would like to see hands go up, because there's tons. We could spend, just focused on you all, we could spend probably 4 more hours in here and still probably never really get justice. So what I'd like to do, the new people that are wanting to put on schools that are on the BMW Club, Porsche Club, Audi Club side, you're gonna come to me, okay? You're going to come to me if you're on the BMW Club, Porsche Club, Audi Club, whatever club side, and we will get you set up with the Getting Started kit, which is the front part of the event kit, which is the front part of how you're going to do all this anyway. SCCA side, you're going to go to Scott and Tim, and they're going to basically do the same thing. So we knew we weren't going to be able to give you absolutely everything you needed to do your first school, but we wanted to throw you into the pool here of all of our experts. As you could hear from that last discussion, there's some differing opinions on some things, and we'll give you some flexibility there, okay? There are some things that we're not going to give you flexibility on. So, you know, thank you for coming out for this, the new ones that just wanted to know. If you registered through the SCCA convention or for just Sunday over only, we've got your email address. You're going to get follow-up stuff. I know of at least one person that got here through the darkness of night that wasn't part of the convention and wasn't part of the Sunday only thing. I think I've given him a business card. If not, please come up and I'll give you one so we can do the follow-up stuff. We're going to do social media follow-up. We're going to send you links for all the presentations once these guys with the cameras have done everything that they've promised me that they're going to do. What am I forgetting? Expenses, yes. BMW Club side. SCCA guys, put your fingers in your ears. Go talk to yourself for a little bit. BMW Club guys, I'm going to send you a reimbursement form, hopefully before Friday. That will give you instructions on what you're going to do to get reimbursed for that, okay? SCCA people, I'm sorry, we can't do that. Now what am I forgetting?
So, as you see, this was this morning, but I think you guys need to give yourself a round of applause for spending hourless time doing this. Those who are still wanting to put on Street Survival, get your questions asked now. I know some of these people have to catch a flight, that kind of stuff. I really appreciate it. Everyone give a round of applause for Bill for putting up with me for the last few years. And I'm not fired. This guy right here puts up way more than what Bill does. So a huge round of applause goes to Tim. I mean, literally, I call him up, and he goes, "What now, Scott?" So, and I thank you. Thank you very much. It's been fun putting all this together. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you got your questions answered. I say let's spend the next 10 minutes asking us questions because we didn't get that opportunity at lunch. It's right here that John did right here. So, I hope that John had fun with that, by the way, because that was cool.
I'm actually flipping through them to see if there's legitimate questions.
Are you talking about the SCCA Go poster that we did one time? I mean, there is flyers. I have that available. There's something designed. I know that there's 8.5 by flyer that can very easily go up to 11 by 17. If you need something bigger, an 8.5 by 11 flyer, but it can go up bigger. I can put it on the SCCA website, and I can give you a link. But for a while there, the regional development people, Raleigh and Velma, who were here earlier, they had me design Go posters. and I designed, it was huge posters that was made. You could go to FedEx.com, order them, and they do it. Yes, that's the Go posters. Yes, those still exist. And then they have a spot across where you can do your next event. Yes, it's still there. They're not pushing it because, Andy now is creative manager and Kristen is now, marketing. So, some of that is changing. I don't mind creating something like that for you for street survival, no problem. And I'll put it where you can get to it. You are just gonna be responsible for, getting it done, so.
These shirts, this logo is on file with Land's End. You can go to Land's End Business, order anything they've got, and get this logo put on it.
So,
If you want to do that, we can give you the logo number.
So-
I don't have it off the top of my head.
But you get the opportunity to pay for it.
Yeah.
So, one of the things, Shirts 101, SCCA gear that was here, they're the ones that did the hats at virtually no cost. I'm working with him to come up with street survival stuff, like a whole entire vest, not polos, not the yellow polos, but long sleeve shirts, vests, and a couple of other things, so.
Not a question, but a comment. Thank you for finding that. Us cold climate people, we really appreciate
I did that. I even told these guys when we were organizing, I said, Boochies need hats, so I'm gonna do stocking hats. So that is done specifically for you. Yeah, feel free to mail around with our veteran organizers, those new people, and if you want to come beat me over the stick, with a head, with a stick, I'm available for that. A couple of things, SCCA people, the SCCA Foundation. How many of you take advantage of the VIP program for club racers and stuff? Guess what? Street Survival is going to be a part of that now. Yes. I know somebody who sort of kind of fixed that for me fairly quickly, but the foundation voted in to be a part of that program on Friday.
Can you expound on that a little bit, what it means?
What's that?
Can you expound a little bit of what that means?
So on the SCCA side, you can get a discount on your membership if you work club racing events. And the dates are verified and that kind of stuff. Club racing pays into that fund for you to get a discount. The SCCA Foundation just voted on Friday that we're going to pay into that program too, and you can get discounts off your membership. You have to be an SCCA member to do it, but it's another way of saying thank you for working so hard. The foundation is going to do that. For every organizer, for every worker, we're going to put in, was it $5 or something like that? It's either 5 or something. Yeah, I said $5. It's going to be $5 we're going to pay into that so you can get a discount on your membership.
Tim, can we get that same arrangements for BMW Club DEs?
We're talking about something, we're not sure, but when I found out about that, yeah, that's something we're looking at.
So, and it's SCCA school, so if you are a BMW Club person who comes to an SCCA and you're an SCCA member, you get that discount. So, all you have to be is an SCCA member and then work in an SCCA street survival. You don't have to do anything else if you want to, but you will get that discount. So you have to apply it, and you have to apply when you go to renew. And for some of you who don't know, SCCA's backside and the membership thing is completely changing, where you can do it all online now. Thank you, everybody.